Hey there. Because you're listening to this podcast, we at Blue Wire want you to know this. 1, we freaking love you. And 2, we want to learn more about you. Help us make more content you'll love by filling out a survey you can find in the description of this podcast. You'll help us out a ton, and you'll have a chance to win a Blue Wire t-shirt, hoodie, or a pair of AirPods. We appreciate you, hope you're staying safe, and want you to enjoy this podcast.
Coming at you live in real time, in your ears right now.
Not live.
The Tennis Podcast. I am Nick.
I'm Brandon.
This is the Tennis Podcast, which means one of our happy asses brings a list of 10-ish things. It could be anything. It's usually fact-based, not opinion-based, but there's exceptions to that. Anyway, the other person tries to guess that person's list without knowing what it is ahead of time.
You get to play along at home, sort of.
We know how much you love to play along with yourself, Brandon.
Today, I brought the list. Today's list.
Before you get to that, I have to mention, I just want to remind everyone that the Tennis Podcast is a proud member of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. They specialize in sports themes podcasts, but they have a growing library of podcasts in other genres such as comedy and infotainment like the Tennis Pod. So you can check out their 100 plus podcasts at bluewirepods.com. Brandon, you were about to say you had the list.
I am, and it's interesting that you pull me out of my groove to mention sports because that is the list.
I love
tonight.
Sports.
Yeah, you're a big sports fan. Today we're going to talk about the 10 most popular sports in the world. And as a bonus, you are going to explain what each sport is. Because you are, I don't like to use the word guru. I think people use the word guru when they have no idea what somebody does for a living. Usually happens like, if you're at work and you are halfway decent at your job, someone who is a dope will refer to you as a guru. Like if you are...
I can confirm that.
If you are competent in Microsoft Word, they'll say, Nick, he is a word guru.
We should start bringing that principle to the hospital when you're getting surgery.
This guy
and you're talking to your family.
This guy is a guts guru. He knows everything there is to know about guts, and he's about to fix your guts.
Or when you go to Pornhub, this gal is a dick guru, a winky guru.
Well, you are a
gal or guy.
A sports guru, as you're about to.
I sure am.
So we're going to talk about, you're going to guess and then explain the most popular sports in the world. These were assembled by sportsshow.net through publicly available data. So these are ranked mostly by the estimated number of fans.
How are they calculating the number of fans?
Probably like a percentage of the people that live in the countries that are into that sport.
Okay.
You're not going to you aren't going to look at these numbers and gasp.
Well, I've been practicing on my gasping today, so we'll test that. I love to gasp.
And yeah, there's a few oddballs on this list, or at least oddballs to us American not sport, because you're not just a sports guru. You love sports so much. It doesn't matter what sport. If it's a sport, you love it. You're on it. You want to watch it. You know all about it.
Mm-hmm.
You love them so much that you're not even limiting yourself to the sports in the United States.
I'm a global, international sports fiend. I can't get enough of it.
If it's a pastime, you're on board.
It's true. I hope our new listeners are catching along with the heavy-handed sarcasm we have going on here.
We're on a sports network, but we probably know the least about sports of anyone on the network.
Yeah, but at least you watch sports. I literally just don't even watch. Can't remember. I mean, yeah.
It costs too much money to have cable TV now. We were just talking about it at dinner tonight. I don't think we're going to be able to watch sports anymore because it costs like $200 a month for cable TV.
Well,
sports are going to die.
What are you going to do?
Between the coronavirus and cutting the cord, between the cord and the coronavirus, sports are on their way out.
Well, according to the Bet Online ad read I have later, sports are on their way back, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Obviously, sports are going to survive coronavirus, and you can already watch sports online in any kind of way. Can you watch sports at betonline.ag? Or do you just get the results?
I don't know, but you should definitely go gamble at betonline.ag and use promo code BlueWire.
They call it betting. I don't know if you're supposed to say gamble.
Okay, betting. You can bet there. You bet your ass you can.
So anyway, start guessing some sports that are loved around the world.
Okay. So there's going to be some real obvious ones, probably.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to guess some of the less obvious ones first.
Okay.
And I'll start with tennis.
Tennis is number 5 on the list. It has
God, that's high though.
It has an estimated 1 billion fans. Regionally,
Wow.
It's most popular in Europe, the Americas, and Asia. And Wimbledon.
What about the moon?
Wimbledon is in London, England. Do they play any other big? Where is the? Oh, I mean, I guess the U.S. But is in the U.S. Isn't there like an open for tennis? Is there an open for tennis?
Absolutely. You bet. Yes. Of course.
Who is the world's best female tennis player right now?
Rosie O'Donnell.
No, make a real. You are the sports guru.
Serena Williams.
Is it? There's a girl. I think she's under the age of 18. Best. Let's just look it up because I'm surprised the sports guru didn't know this. Best female tennis player right now. It is Serena Williams.
I told you. I knew it. Serena Williams, fellow tennis guru like myself. I'm surprised tennis number 5. Obviously, tennis is, widely played, and there's tennis courts all over the world. You see them driving down the street, but it's definitely not, at least, maybe I'm in my American bubble here, but it's definitely not something you hear people like talking about as far as watching it and being a fan of it. But
yeah, do you know anybody who sits in front of their TVs and like yells and shouts about tennis?
Basically, my only tennis reference is just the Seinfeld episode where Jerry dates the deaf. What is she, a deaf tennis referee? Anyway, and Kramer becomes a ball boy.
Well, anyway, also, that Trump plays tennis. There's that great picture of him he's wearing tighty-whitey shorts, but he's wearing tighty-whitey underwear underneath them, and you can see everything he's working with.
I just don't know why someone didn't try to talk him out of that.
I don't think you can.
But maybe they did.
I don't think you can talk him out of anything. Also, do you remember when Monica Seles got stabbed?
Was that the Tanya thing?
No, it's like a Tanya Harding thing in that it happened to an athlete, unsuspecting athlete. No, Monica Seles, 1993, she got stabbed by a mentally disturbed fan just out on the tennis court. He just ran up and, ha-ha.
Well,
stab.
You might be adding the ha-ha there. Stabbed with what, a knife?
I think so.
She okay?
Yeah, she was fine. She just said, it looked like it hurt.
Well, yeah.
So that's tennis.
Did you want me to explain what tennis is?
Yeah. Explain to the folks at home how you play tennis.
So tennis is where a man gets on one side and a woman gets on the other side, and they strike a greenish yellow ball with a big, like a big fly swatter, and they hit it over a net.
It's got a boing on the other side.
And so you hit the ball onto the other side of the net. Then the other person swings their fly swatter at the ball, and you just go back and forth like that. You win by making the other person look like as big of a jackass as possible.
We played tennis once, and we both looked like jackasses.
Yeah, I actually do like tennis. I used to play casually, not
tried out for Wimbledon.
Yeah, well, they said I couldn't. I saw Trump, and I thought that's how you're supposed to dress as a tennis player, and they didn't like it.
They said you couldn't dress like that.
Okay, tennis number 5. I knew it. I nailed it. I'm killing this list already. Should I go to the next guess?
What's one of the top 10 most popular sports in the world?
Let me throw out a few off the wall ones that I don't think are going to be in the top 10.
Okay.
So how about like badminton?
No. Badminton is not in the top 10.
Ping pong.
You idiot. Ping pong,
is it
also known as table tennis, is number 7.
Okay, now who's sitting down watching fucking ping pong tournaments besides Forrest Gump?
Asians.
Oh, God. We love our Asian listeners.
No, that's what it says. Regional popularity, Asia, Europe, Africa, and Americas. And it generally falls in the order in which they're listed here. Yeah, don't you remember in Forrest Gump? The big deal was that he went over and played, Nixon had him go over and play China. It was part of establishing a relationship with communist red China. Yeah, they love it.
Do they have like world championship tournaments on television?
Yeah, it's 850 million people love ping pong.
That's crazy.
Table tennis. Competitive table tennis is popular in East Asia and Europe. It's been gaining attention in the United States, usually at frat houses. It's most important.
Damn it. That does not count. I am putting my foot down on frat houses.
It's important. Counting. International competitions are the World Table Tennis Championships, the Table Tennis World Cup, the Olympics, and the ITTF World Tour. So yeah, you can get in the Olympics playing ping pong.
Can we just agree that the only people that call it table tennis are people that are trying to like legitimize it because they think ping pong sounds too hokey? Nobody fucking calls it table tennis.
Well,
if you call it table tennis, just unsubscribe from this show because you're a uppity sumbitch.
I am looking at a picture of Natalia Partika. She is one of the few players who have competed in both the Paralympics and the Olympics. You know, the Paralympics are for athletes who are like missing a limb.
Mm-hmm.
And she is missing, looks like it was probably a birth defect. She is missing her right arm from like the elbow down. So she is playing. I mean, I don't know if does it make a difference in table tennis if you only have one arm?
I don't think it would, but I don't know.
I bet you probably have to be able to switch hands and stuff. I don't know. Maybe if you play.
But she can do it though, right?
Yeah, well, no matter what everybody else is, she's doing it with one arm and has competed in the Paralympics and is good enough with her one arm to compete also in the Olympics.
This person
She's better with one arm than you'll ever be at anything in your whole life.
That's what I was just about to say. She has one arm, and I was born with an advantage with two arms, and I can barely, yeah.
Well, there's a photo of her mid-pong. She looks like she's about to...
Oh, baby.
And between you and her, she is the athlete. She has muscles, and that's pretty much the end of that argument.
Yeah, I'd like to have muscles someday. So ping pong is a game where it's just tennis. You take the two people, but you shrink them down onto a greenish table, and then they play tennis there. That's it. But the normal people that aren't rich snobs call it ping pong and not table tennis. Table tennis is like something the Brits would say, right? It's spotted tea with your table tennis.
And they'd have some kind of like, they'd call it, they call their backyard, they call it the garden, which sounds a little more fantastical.
Bunch of assholes, come on, garden. All right.
There's other examples, but I'm too busy thinking about ping pong right now. I guess we should call it table tennis.
Did you have any more notes on table tennis?
No.
Then
you told us everything about how to play it.
Yeah. Well, you said you're still thinking about it, so I didn't know if you wanted to.
No, just thinking about like it's
spend
fun to
more
play
time on it.
Well, from there I started thinking about beer pong. And I do think playing beer pong is fun. I don't want to drink a bunch of crappy beer that has little bits of whatever the ping pong ball picked up on someone's garage floor floating around in it. But bouncing ping pong balls in the cup.
It is pretty gross.
Yeah, it is.
It is pretty gross. What do you think about it?
And like the sanitary thing to do is to have a cup of water to like kind of bounce the dirt off of the ball in before you throw it into somebody's beverage.
I have a question for you, kind of off topic, and I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit, and I want everyone out there to sit down because I don't want you to fall over out of shock. But we're not actually live in your ears right now. This was pre-recorded. I know it's really difficult for you to hear, but we pre-recorded this episode on June 10th. And as of June 10th, the world still fucking sucks, and there's still a coronavirus being annoying as hell.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go away before this comes out.
Right. My question for you, though, is what do you think the long-term impacts of corona will be as far as sanitation goes? Like right now, in most places, if you go to a restaurant to get some takeout, the restaurant employees are going to be wearing masks and gloves. I would be in favor of that just being a practice going forward, even after corona. Like just wear a mask and gloves.
Well, I know you got to have the hairnet. And the gloves, I understand too. I feel like eventually we're going to have to phase out the mask just because it bothers people too much to smell their own mouth and nose all day long, every day at work.
Well, the gloves are pointless when they only are worthwhile if you're changing gloves regularly.
Right. Otherwise, it's just your other dirty skin on top of your hands.
You can't be handling money.
No, they tell you to change those.
But you got to remember, you are relying on these snot-nosed teenagers to comply with like these regulations, you know?
Yeah.
You can't. Anyway, we're going off.
It's what
off the rails here.
Every time we go to a restaurant and we sit there for like 15 minutes before someone like comes to, take your drink order or something, we always look around for a minute. We're like, what's going on? And then the answer is always the same. Restaurants are run by teenagers and 22-year-olds who are all banging each other. And
there it is. Let's just call it like we see it.
And it's just chaos. It's chaos in the restaurant and in the kitchen at all times. And whoever the manager is, they're 24 years old and they don't give a rat's ass about being there.
And or if they're older, first of all, you got to get a manager that cares enough.
Right.
And when you do get a manager that cares enough, he instructs everyone in the restaurant and say, okay, I know it's a pain, but you need to change gloves between every blah, blah. If I was 17 years old, I'd be rolling my eyes and I'd be not doing it out of spite, fully admitting I was an asshole when I was 17. But the point being that as long as restaurants are run by the teenagers banging each other, like you said, it's just, it's never foolproof, but you can mitigate it. Anyway, I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about anymore. What are we doing?
That was table tennis.
Okay, table tennis, number 7. Action. You want it, we want it, and there's no shortage of action going on right now at our exclusive partners, betonline.ag. As you know, sports are slowly making their way back, and BetOnline is leading the way with the best odds and the best lines for all UFC, NASCAR, boxing, and soccer matches. And if your greedy little ass needs more, they have simulated NFL, NBA, and UFC simulations all day, every day, live on their website. And of course, for you contrarians out there, if you're looking for something other than sports, BetOnline also has hundreds of casino games, poker tournaments, and prop bets to check out. Visit betonline.ag and use promo code BLUEWIRE for a free welcome bonus. That's one word, BLUE WIRE. Wire, aren't you going yet to betonline.ag? BetOnline, they are your online wagering experts. Would hunting be considered a sport?
Not on this list.
Or like poker?
No.
Magic the Gathering?
Nope.
Number 1, Pokemon?
No Pokemon.
Bowling. I'd say bowling might be like number 9 or 10.
Bowling is not on the list.
Yeah, I was testing you. Golf.
Golf is number 10 on the list. Has 390 million estimated fans.
You never hear about golf in other countries, do you? Like, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
They don't play it in other countries.
Yeah, it comes from Scotland.
Nah.
Okay, well, they play golf over in Europe. They play it in Asia, in the Americas, and in Canada. Is Canada? I guess Canada is not in America, but I feel like they should be.
Well, come on.
Actually, we should aspire to be a Canada, not the other way around.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd much rather live in Canada right now. I think I've told you that. I want to live in Canada.
Yeah.
I aspire to live in Canada.
Yeah.
Someone let me live with you in Canada.
Yeah.
We have Canadian listeners.
Actually, they would have to sneak us. The border's closed because we're all too dirty.
Canada seems like...
They got their shit together.
Yeah, they got their shit together. But let me tell you about golf. Golf is where you have a man and you have to ideally be named after an animal. It's not a necessity, but it helps. And then you stand on a big open area. You put your 2 feet down and you get in kind of a stance like you're going to...
Strike a ball with a stick.
Yeah, and you take your big old stick, and they got different size heads on the sticks.
It's called a club.
Yeah, kind of like my club and your club are different sizes, Brandon. And then you take that club and you swing it, kind of like a baseball bat, but you swing it at a downward angle to where it strikes a tiny ass little white dimpled ball on the ground, and that dimpled white ball goes flying. And hopefully, when it lands hundreds of feet away, it lands inside of a hole. You know, I feel like the goal, and the goal of golf, we all get it. You want to get a hole in one. But do you ever fucking sit and appreciate how incredible it is to get a ball that size and a hole that size from that distance? It's pretty remarkable when you stop and think about it.
Well, yeah, that's why it's a challenge.
I know we all know, but like think about basketball. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to be good at throwing a ball into a hoop, but most everybody could do it if they just sat there and tried enough times in a row, right? If you just stood at the free throw line and threw a ball toward the net as many times as you could, you would eventually get it in. That is not the same for golf, where, you know, at least not in one sitting,
see the
where
hole.
You can just...
You just know, like, you got a vague idea, like it's over there. You have to look at a map. You have to look at a map and say, like, oh, in 300 yards, it's going to dog leg right. And you're like, why the fuck is this called a dog leg? And yeah, you have to hit this thing like 100 miles an hour, this little ball up in the air, and then also have someone help you watch for it because it's the tiniest thing in the world and it's going to fly up into the bright sun. And then...
Yeah, that's another thing. Why not make it bigger to where the spectators can get a better visual of it?
I go play golf with my dad once in a while, and I lose about 1 ball per hole.
That's what she said.
I'll lose like a whole box of them. And it's not because it goes in the water. It's because I can't fucking find it. I'm not that good. So it's not going right in the middle. And I'll go look around for a while and just be like, I don't know. I don't know. You pay for something and then like it sits there for a long time. And then when you lose it, it's like, well, might as well be free. I don't remember when I paid for it. So yeah.
Well, you know, there's those companies out there that produce something that, and you just know that company will never go out of business because there will always be a need for that thing. Like, what's an example?
Golf balls? Because you keep losing them?
Yeah, well, that's where I'm going, is golf ball manufacturers will always be in business because people like you and me, when we go golfing, we need like 16 boxes of 30 each balls to just get through in 18 holes.
There must be some little creature or trained animals or something that live on the course that are trained.
Must be.
To go scoop up a ball and hoard it. That's where they make all their money is stealing your balls.
No, the logic is there. No, I appreciate that logic. Hey, you know, I've never been to a professional golf, like, what is it, a match?
Yeah, like a golf tournament.
Do the people have to just literally walk from hole to hole?
Yeah.
Doesn't that just seems so stupid?
What do you mean? Like the people to spectate? To go watch it?
You go to any other sport in the world to spectate, and you will sit in one spot or stand in one spot.
You can do that in some places at the tournament. Like you can go sit at the 18th hole by the green, you know, watch everyone's last putt. So yeah, you can sit there and wait, or you can go like walk around and try to follow a certain player or watch people tee off from a certain hole.
I'm going to tee off on your hole. Tell me some more about golf. Or is that it?
No, I'm just saying you can sit if you want, I think, at a golf. But I've never been either, despite the fact that the city we live in has hosted the US Open or other tournaments. And it's super popular, but it's like impossible to get into. And also I didn't care that much. Someone said they saw Tiger Woods eat at Fuddruckers when he was here, and
I just don't believe that.
I refuse to believe that Tiger Woods walked. They said he walked over. You know, there's a hotel. There's a Fuddruckers in Tulsa, or used to be. I'm sure that thing's closed down now. And then like 100 yards away, there is a hotel.
It's one of the nicer ones in town.
Yeah, it's a decent hotel. But they said that Tiger Woods stayed at that hotel and walked over to Fuddruckers by himself at the height. This would have been in like 2000, I don't know, was it 2004, 2005, when he was just like the most popular athlete in the world before he
was a disgust.
Before everyone found out he was taking Ambien and humping. They said he walked over to Fuddruckers and assembled. Can you imagine going in there and assembling his own burger? Like they give him the meat and then
look,
he's standing over those things with the sneeze guard, putting lettuce on a burger.
No, he'd put the burger down on the bar and then he'd go back to like where the front door is and then he'd swing a golf club and hit the toppings onto the burger one by one, like in a cartoon. But I'm sorry, him eating at Fuddruckers is maybe more incriminating to me than, you know, the scandals that came and like with the women.
It paints such a weird picture of Tiger Woods. Just he must be clueless. In addition to having hundreds of millions of dollars, just clueless. I guess I'll just walk over there and eat with the world's shittiest burger and assemble it myself next to a bunch of children and mouth breathers.
This is not the first time you've thrown some shade at Fuddruckers. Did they do something to you?
I just think
Did they do something to your family?
I think it's a really shitty burger, and the idea that you have to put it together yourself. You get to put it together yourself. Like, I don't want to do that. All these fixins are out here where people can sneeze and shit all over them. But that
shit. Can you imagine looking at the burger bar and someone shitting?
Just someone helping their 4-year-old up. Hanging their ass over into it. Okay, anyway, that's golf.
But yeah, that is golf.
That's golf.
Tiger, we know you're listening, and thank you for being a Patreon supporter. So, how about hockey?
Ice hockey is not on here, but there's another kind of hockey. What kind of hockey?
Field hockey?
Field hockey. Field hockey is more popular than tennis. It's the 4th most popular sport in the world.
Way.
It has 2 billion fans.
I'm not buying it.
And you're not buying it because it's not as popular here. It's more popular in Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia.
Yeah, but do those places even really count?
They are all handling coronavirus and treatment of their citizens better than us. So, yeah.
Point taken.
Maybe there's something to love in field hockey that makes you a better country.
We need to make that America's new pastime.
So field hockey, I knew you wouldn't know anything about. This is one of the areas in which the sports guru is lacking.
I've been out-gurued.
It can be played on grass, on watered turf. Well, I don't know what a watered turf. I guess, so there's grass, which is actual grass, right? And then there's artificial turf. But then there's something in between those called watered turf.
I think we need another one, peanut buttered turf, right?
It would just stick.
I mean, it can't be worse than the wet turf.
I don't know why watered turf if it's artificial.
Well, I don't know if it warrants spending any more time on it, though.
Well, anyway, it can also be played indoor on a boarded surface. So here's how you play it. Each team plays with 10 field players and a goalkeeper. The players use these sticks that are made out of wood, carbon fiber, or fiberglass, or a combination of those. And they hit a round hard...
Real men use wood, right?
Oh, they might use carbon fiber because it sounds cool. They hit a round, hard plastic hockey ball. The length of their stick is based on each player's individual height. The top of the stick comes to the player's hip, and taller players have a taller stick.
Oh, baby.
The stick has a round side and a flat side.
Tell me more.
Only the flat surface of the stick is allowed to be used.
God damn.
If you use the other side, it's a foul.
That's right. Yep. I've been there, brother.
Goalies have a different kind of stick.
Mm-hmm.
They can also use a regular stick if they want. Goal-keeping sticks have another curve at the end of the stick to give them more surface area to save the ball.
Yeah. You need more surface area on your stick.
And for a uniform, they wear shin guards, shoes, shorts, or a skirt, a mouth guard, and a jersey. That's it.
Should I make more stick jokes, or do you think the point is
I completely tuned them out. And that's how you play field hockey. It's not like lacrosse, is it? Lacrosse has a little net in the stick.
I'll take your word for it.
It's like polo without the horse.
Well, you know I'm a sports guru, so I'm with you on all this. I already know all this. Is ice hockey lower on the top 10?
No, ice hockey is not in the top 10.
I think ice hockey is like a real North American thing, right? US and Canada?
Yeah. I don't think anyone else is that into it. Oh, except for Russia.
Mm.
Remember the Miracle on Ice was against the Russians? Because they have ice there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God. The 1980 Olympics, and also a movie that they made about it called The Miracle on Ice, where during the height of the Cold... They always say it's the height of the Cold War. During the Cold War, the U.S. team, the ragtag Americans, played against the Russian Supermen, and by a miracle, won. That's why that guy said, like, do you believe in miracles? That's where it comes from, the end of that hockey game. Anyway, Russia played in that, and they play hockey in Russia.
I'm a sports guru, so I knew all that. I was testing you. But what I was going to say before is, isn't it interesting how we're all people here on Earth, we're all living at the same time, but different countries can just embrace a sport way more than a country. Some countries have barely have that sport.
Did you discover just now that countries have cultural differences?
Okay, how about rugby?
Rugby/American football.
Oh, come on, that's not right.
Well, that's how it's described here. American football/rugby, 410 million fans. Now, they're mostly talking about American football here. This is USA mainly.
What number?
It's number 9.
Knew it.
USA, France, England, New Zealand, South Africa.
Now, in other countries, it's still called American football, right?
Yeah.
Even when they're not watching like the NFL, they have their own leagues, they still call it American football?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know how any of them are any good at it, because don't some of the most giantest dudes in the world come from the U.S.? Because we have all the, it's like we're...
Meat and potatoes.
We have meat and potatoes and...
multivitamins?
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
That's where they say, get the phrase, it was like big corn-fed offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. Corn-fed country boys. That's what America produces. Big, strong, fat guys who can bump their heads into each other. That's American football.
Well, yeah, this is great. You're a real patriot.
Hey, that's what the rest of the Blue Wire Network is here for.
Yeah, you're right.
If you want to deep dive into sports, you deep dive on one of those other high-quality, entertaining podcasts.
Yes, sir.
But right here, we're sticking to just the facts.
Yeah, just the facts. That's all we've been talking about today is facts. Do you want me to explain American football to our audience?
Made up of mostly Americans?
Okay, you'd be surprised.
Well, I'll do football. So in football, you have a field and it's a rectangle. It's 100 yards long and there's an end zone at either end. Each team has 11 players on it, and the leader of your team on offense, they call him the quarterback, and he takes a ball a little bit of an egg shape, covered in the skin of a pig, and he grabs it from under the crotch of a man called the center when he says hike. Then the offense tries to get the ball down the field, while the defense tries to give them concussions that will later cause problems with depression, anger, memory trouble later in life.
It's all in the name of the game.
And
for the love of football.
If you get a touchdown, you get 6 points. If your kicker can kick the little ball between the sticks, you get another point on top of that. And you're supposed to drink beer before the game, during the game, and after the game. You either pout because your team lost, or you celebrate by eating bratwurst.
And you forgot that when you score a touchdown, you're legally obligated to do a stupid little dance.
Or thank Jesus.
Yes. And then take your family to Disney World.
You know, there's probably Jesus is his attention is focused. He's like, I'm healing this baby. There's a baby who's sick. And he's like,
yeah,
kind of like when Yoda raises Luke's X-Wing out of the swamp.
Yeah.
He closes his eyes, he puts his head back, he puts his little hand out, and then starts using the Force. Something happens. That's how Jesus has his head back, his hand out, he's healing this baby. And then, oh wait, hold on. So I'm getting interrupted. Someone's calling my name. Oh, it's Odell Beckham Jr. He's thanking me after a touchdown. Sorry. Oh, it broke my concentration. The baby died.
Well, you said he's concentrating on healing the baby. It's very possible, maybe more possible, that Jesus is actually concentrating on giving that baby cancer or a birth defect.
No, he's healing that's why I'm saying, that's why he works in mysterious ways, because you got people vying for his attention over things that don't necessarily need his attention. Like, dear Jesus, thank you for the touchdown, your friend Odell Beckham Jr. And then, like I said, hey, you made me turn my head this way, and over here, a baby died.
But I'd like to also consider the opposite being true.
Only the devil does that.
Well, it's only
the devil does that. Anyway, so that's football.
So from Jesus, devil, and football, I think that is a great segue into our next topic, which is a podcast plug.
Oh, okay.
What?
I thought our next topic would be the other half of the list, but you're actually taking a break.
No, I have to take a break because I cannot contain my excitement any longer. I can't contain it for one more second. I have to tell you about the Studying Scarlet podcast. The thing that makes this podcast different is they alternate episodes. 1 week, an episode is based on factual true crime. The next week, it's based on a fictional crime. So it's really unique and it keeps things fresh. I highly recommend it. Here is their quick promo.
The world is a confusing, stressful, and often frightening place.
And we each have our own unique coping mechanisms that help us get by.
Some people will tell you that when life gives you lemons, you should make lemonade.
No, that's terrible advice. Just randomly getting free fruit is extremely suspicious. Haven't you heard of Snow White?
That's actually a really good point. It's usually not a great idea to consume anything if you're not totally sure what's in it.
If you're the type of person who copes with discomfort by making strange jokes and who enjoys losing yourself in a creepy and sometimes bloody mystery,
please join us for our dark comedy podcast, Studying Scarlet.
We alternate weekly between true crime and fictional crime, and we even take listener requests for episode topics.
So if you too have a morbid sense of humor, we'd love to welcome you into our weird, quirky, and sometimes disturbing world.
Studying Scarlet is available on your favorite podcast app, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We can't wait to meet you.
Please subscribe today.
I was able to slip that plug in so smoothly you didn't even notice, right?
Uh-huh.
That's the Studying Scarlet podcast. I'm going to give you another guess now. American football, let's acknowledge how low that is, by the way. Number 9.
Well, there's more people in the world than just in America. There's a lot of people in Asia.
Yeah, allegedly. I haven't been to verify myself, but I hear there's a lot of people there.
There's something on here that I didn't realize they love.
Pogo competitions? Pogo stick?
Nope.
Well, American football, I know that it has American in the name, but it was also combined with rugby. So take that, plus the fact that most Americans probably just assume the whole world is watching every Sunday and Monday night and Thursday night football games just like they are.
This is a long preamble. Where's the guess here?
All right, so my next guess is going to be swimming.
No, the swimming isn't on here.
Horse racing.
No. Everything else on here has a ball.
All right, baseball.
Baseball.
Number 3.
No, it's number 8. It is a largely American pastime. Has 500 million estimated fans worldwide. It is most popular in the U.S., Japan. We've had a couple of movies about Americans going over to Japan to play baseball. In Cuba and in the Dominican Republic. Isn't Dominican Republic where Sammy Sosa was from? I think he's Dominican.
Absolutely.
Dominican Republican.
I know that off the top of my head. Yep.
Anyway, are you going to tell everybody how they play baseball?
Yeah, so baseball is a game where you got to wear really tight pants and polyester, and you can't wear cotton because they shrink, as George Costanza will tell you. But you wear really uncomfortable uniforms, and you stand outside in the blazing heat, and you stand around for a long time with a big, stupid-ass looking glove on your hand.
And your dad's yelling at you that you're a fairy. And you're picking dandelions.
Yeah, you stand there and you just stand and look up at the sky and kind of shuffle your feet. And you do that for about, 17 hours or so? Yeah. And then you're done. And on the other side of the field, there may or may not be people hitting a ball maybe once every 6-7 hours, and then they run.
You spend most of your time squinting into the distance thinking that you should have gone to art camp.
Yeah.
That's baseball.
That's baseball. Have I ever told you about when I played baseball as a kid?
No.
Believe it or not, your resident sports guru, I did play sports, like up until age 12 or 13.
Until you were old enough to realize that you weren't good at it and you shouldn't be doing it.
Anyway, I did one season of baseball. Soccer was usually my sport of choice, but I ended up playing baseball one season, and I was pretty good at it until one day during practice,
they took the tee away.
Well, I did do t-ball too, Brandon, but this is baseball, and the coach was pitching during practice, and he hit me with the ball. And it wasn't even terrible. I mean, it hurt, but it
must have been so thrilling and satisfying for him.
That coach, that grown man who struck me. I was like 10 years old.
He went home and told his wife, "What a thrill." You should have seen his face. Did he cry? Oh, yes, he cried. Was it everything you said it would be? It was. It was.
He says the only thing I wish is that I fucking knocked him out by hitting him in the head. Yeah, well, anyway, he hit me with the ball, and that was it for me. I couldn't do it anymore. I had a mental block. I could not stand there while a ball was being thrown at me. Why is the baseball got to be so goddamn hard? Why can't it be like a tennis ball?
When I was a kid, between coach pitch and kid pitch, they had this thing called like a year where you would let the machine pitch to you.
Yeah, I know that.
So I heard this and I was like, a robot is going to throw the ball to me. I remember one day we were leaving a coach pitch game and I looked over and someone was using one of the pitching machines, but they must have had it cranked up really high because it was, looking back, it's not the speed that they would have been using for, 6 or 7 year old children. But I watched somebody, like a ball got dropped into the machine and then went like 90 miles an hour at their head.
God damn.
And this kid just collapsed to the dirt. He was wearing a helmet. I'm sure he was fine. But
oh, yeah. God, okay.
I saw that.
How old is he? 6, 7?
I don't know. I saw that and I remember not saying anything at the time, but making up my mind like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Tell me though, what's the reason for the ball being like as hard as a fucking centuries old fossilized rock?
It's just more exciting that way.
I don't know. All right. Is there anything else on baseball?
Have you ever been to a game and seen a foul ball like hurt somebody?
Yeah. Didn't I tell you about? Okay. Well, it was a hockey puck. So I guess
God.
I'm changing. I'm changing sports here. But my dad and I were at a hockey game. I was probably 8 years old, and it was like the game was like a blowout. So we left like in the last minute or two before the game ran out. And in the time that we left, a lady moved into my dad's seat to get a better view because my dad had left. And a puck flew over the glass and hit her in the head. She had to get like a bunch of stitches and went go to the hospital.
Well, I was at a minor league baseball game once, and a foul ball came, and I remember watching it pretty much come like towards me. It hit 2 rows in front of me, and I reacted extremely slowly. I would have definitely been hurt by it, but it hit a little girl in the head. I think she was immediately unconscious, and her dad just scooped her up and he scooped her up, took her out of there, presumably immediately to the emergency room. And I remember I was probably 12 or 13, and I remember even being that young, this guy, what he said struck me as like, oh my God, adults are so stupid. Oh no, it hit her on the top of the head. Sorry, it didn't hit the side of the head. Hit her on the top of the head and kind of like skipped off. But anyway, it hurt her. And this guy explained that she was lucky it didn't hit her like in the side of the head, like the temple. Like, no, if she was lucky, the ball wouldn't have hit her at all. She wouldn't have been here this day. She would have found a bunch of money on the street, not gotten hit in the head with a baseball.
If she was lucky. Yeah, ball on the top of the head. Yeah. I want someone out there to explain to me why the ball needs to be hard. Because that little girl didn't have to happen that way.
Did you ever have baseball cards?
No, I had basketball cards.
I know. Why?
I don't know why.
When you look back, like, we were getting ripped off somehow, right?
Well, they're just collectibles, Brandon. People like to collect shit. Like you like to collect your little Lego men, your little Lego Batman. How's that any different?
I'm not collecting it.
You're playing with it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah, all right. So back to sports.
Basketball.
Basketball is number 3 on the list.
Oh,
it's the third most popular sport in the world. It has 2.2 billion estimated fans. It's most popular in the US, Canada, China, and the Philippines. I didn't know it was popular in the Philippines.
It's because you're very uncultured and not very worldly.
Explain to the folks at home how something seemingly as complicated as basketball works.
Well, you take a ball.
Yep.
And you put it in a basket. That's it.
That's it. It helps to be tall.
It helps to be tall. And it helps to have, how many people are on a team? Like 12?
There's 5.
I mean, on the court, I mean.
5 on each team.
5. Okay, I was close. And so, wait, that's it? 5?
Yeah, there's 5 players on the court for each team at a time.
We'll have to verify that. 5 of you are trying to get one ball into one net and one basket, and the other team's trying to do the same thing.
And 5 mortal enemies trying to stop you.
Yeah, it really, when you take a step back and think about what it really is very stupid.
How hard we take, like, putting a little ball in a little circle.
Yes, and think of all the money that is associated with that stupid little game that was invented by, like, monkey men hundreds of years ago, whatever,
no, it was
millions of years ago.
It was invented by a guy trying to keep kids from, like, throwing rocks at windows and finger banging each other. He's like, okay, fine.
Finger banging, really.
Take this ball, and I nailed a basket up there, and I nailed another basket up there. See who can get the ball in that thing the most times. And that kept the kids busy. It kept the fingers where they were supposed to be on toys.
Yeah, why do you think all these kids are finger banging?
Where did this come from? That's what kids get up to, and that's what you need. That's why you need to keep them busy with sports.
Wow, God.
Anyway,
I'm learning so much today about sports.
That's why basketball was invented, and now it's been taken so seriously.
Yes.
Like, we both recently watched Uncut Gems because it came to Netflix.
Excellent movie.
No spoiler, but it does heavily revolve around betting on basketball games. If you place a bet and, screw over the wrong bookie or whatever, criminal, you can get your legs broken, you can get beat up, you can get killed. for how serious it is to get that ball in that little circle.
Yep. Well, it's not a circle, Brandon. It's a basket. Is a basket still a basket if there's no bottom on it?
If it can fall through?
Yeah. I also like how these super serious, dumb little sports have like the most... It sounds like kids made up the names.
It's basketball. Right? Hopscotch and basketball.
Ping pong.
Yeah. Well, they call it table tennis. It's,
No, that's what
those are adults.
The stiffs call it. Here's a few more sports I don't think are in the top 10. Tetherball.
No tetherball.
Hopscotch.
Not hopscotch. No tiddlywinks.
What's that game called?
Uno.
Kickball? Kickball?
No kickball. No foursquare.
Softball? Foursquare, that's what I was trying to think of.
No.
Dodgeball?
No.
Dodgeball is the most fun to play, I think.
I don't understand why there isn't a professional version of that.
Yeah, why? That's the best thing you've ever said.
Well, I spin a ton of gold.
No.
I spin it too early in the day. I don't have any left when we start recording.
Yeah, I'll have to take your word for it there. Okay, so what are the big ones that I have not guessed yet? Okay, soccer/football has got to be number one.
Yeah, soccer is number one. Soccer/association football. Football has an estimated 3.5 billion fans across the world. It's most popular in Europe, Africa, Asia, and America.
Damn.
It's popular all over the world. And part of the reason it is popular is because there's easy access to play soccer.
What does that mean?
You'd notice of all the games on this, it's the one that requires the least amount of equipment. You need a ball and feet, and that's it. You don't even technically have to have a goal set up. If you just pick a spot that past this spot, it's a goal. You can be very poor and have very little.
Yeah, you could say the same about American football, though.
Yeah, but it also has very complicated rules. Soccer's rules
That's true.
Are fairly simple. You can't use your hands and get the ball into the goal. So yeah, that's part of the reason why it's so popular, because even if you were very, very poor, if you have a soccer ball, you can play soccer.
Is this your own analysis, or did you read this?
No, I read this.
Okay.
Part of the reason of its popularity is its easy access. It's played by 250 million players in over 200 countries.
That's fucking lot. Damn. That's almost as many people listening to us right now.
More than 3.2 billion people watched the last World Cup in 2018.
Is that the most watched sporting event?
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one is in 2022. What are we going to do to tide us over?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish I was more excited by it, because it does, I like the idea of watching an international sport. I have only been to Europe. I've been to Europe 2 times, both on business trips. And during one of them, I got to attend, it wasn't even the actual soccer match. It was the football match, football game, whatever. It was an outdoor viewing of a World Cup game. And it was an awesome atmosphere. Yeah, I would like to be on board with it and be right in there in the thick of it, but soccer/football, it just does not do it for me.
You just went on about how great it is, though. How great the experience is.
No, the atmosphere watching it as a group was great, but watching it on TV at my house, it just make me go to sleep.
Yeah.
Sorry, soccer fans. I know it's awesome. I know it's a ton of fun to watch, and I know I am the problem. But I am the problem.
It's true. In most cases, I find that you are the problem. I think we may have covered this, but why did America have to come be assholes and name their top sport the same name as a really other popular sport, and our version doesn't even barely involves the foot?
We can't let anybody have anything.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, there's got to be something big I'm forgetting here.
You got 2 left.
What about karate or something?
No, not karate. They all involve balls. Got to have a ball in these games.
Okay. Racquetball?
No.
Squash?
No. I don't even know the difference between them. Well, let me give you a clue about one of these. They play it at the Olympics. It's a popular game for hotshot Air Force pilots to play in their jeans with their shirts off. No, they're Navy pilots. Hotshot Navy pilots. Take off.
Volleyball?
Yeah, volleyball.
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
Remember in Top
Is that
Gun?
6? Haven't seen it.
Top Gun is the most expensive and entertaining gay pornographic film that does not contain any actual homosexual sex scenes. But there is like a 10-minute sequence set to the song Playing with the Boys, where Maverick and the Goose square off in a hot and sweaty California volleyball session against Iceman and that other big goon. And the first thing they do is pop their shirts off. And I swear to you, they flex at each other and make kissy faces at each other and high five each other and touch each other.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, except that
you and I do that in our post-production meetings sometimes.
Except when it's all over, they all start chasing skirts around. They're all living lies, except for when they can only be themselves out there on the sand. They have this macho heterosexual persona, and they get in these jets, they fly around. I'm going to get in my penis plane and chase your penis plane.
Yep.
Oh, I'll get right up behind your penis plane with mine. Then they get back down the ground. They're like, no, we're all about the ladies. I'm flirting with my teacher. That's how much I like ladies, even though she's my superior and my teacher here at the Top Gun school. I'm going to flirt with her and eventually take her to bed and lay down on top of her and pretend she's the Iceman.
Wow. I did not expect such Top Gun hot takes.
That's volleyball. You know, there was a sequel to Top Gun that's supposed to come out this summer, and COVID has knocked it off schedule. I want to see that just because of the flying around in the sky IMAX jet scenes, but I'm also want to be first in line because I am hoping they have another high octane, high testosterone volleyball scene.
Well, it's a weird thing to be waiting 25 years to see.
Like a 50-something-year-old Tom Cruise.
50 really is like the new 30 in Hollywood.
Do you think Tom Cruise looks good with his shirt off right now?
I got to be honest, this is a really weird path we've gone down. I don't know what to say anymore.
That's volleyball.
That's volleyball.
There's one left.
And it involves a ball.
It involves a ball and a bat. It's most popular in Asia, Australia, and the UK.
Cricket.
Yeah, cricket. It's number 2.
Knew it. I was saving it for last.
It's got 2.5 billion fans in the world. Now, cricket, we don't know nothing about it, right?
Yeah, I don't even know how you play it.
I looked it up, and this is the one I studied the most on trying to figure out how to play it, and I still don't understand it. It is a bat and ball game between 2 teams of 11 players on a field. The field is round, but at the center of the field is a rectangular 22-yard long pitch, and it has a wicket at each end.
A wickin?
A wicket.
Like a witch?
A wicket. Like a sticky wicket.
Okay.
Like Wicket the Ewok.
Okay, gotcha.
Each comprising 2 balls balanced on 3 stumps. You got that? A wicket.
Are we talking about a fucking cartoon show storyline?
This
now?
sounds
did we switch?
This sounds like Quidditch. Teams take turns to bat, attempting to score runs. Now that sounds familiar. It has innings like baseball. But also there's a ball that is bowled at the wicket with the bat. What the fuck is going on?
How do you win?
You gotta bowl the ball at a wicket with the bat.
But when do the crickets come in?
That's just what it's called.
Are they chirping? Are the crickets the spectators?
The crickets is the sound of nobody listening, that everyone has shut this off. My next bullet point is just, I wrote absolutely confusing. Because I couldn't, I read it 3 times, I couldn't figure out how to score in cricket, how to get a run. But I did find out it started as a children's game in the Middle Ages.
I think they all started as children's game, so I have to assume.
Well, they were trying to keep kids in the Middle Ages from
keep their fingers away from each other.
Keep their fingers out of each other, keep from spreading the plague.
Yeah, well, the plague's back, baby.
Yeah, so that's cricket.
Yeah, cricket. Sounds great. I think I'm gonna try taking up some cricket this summer.
Let me run through the most popular sports in the world again for you.
Yeah.
Number 10 was golf. Number 9 is American football or rugby. Number 8 is baseball. Number 7, table tennis. You know it as ping pong or wiffle waffle. Whiff waff.
That's it.
Number 6 is volleyball. Number 5, tennis, not on table. Number 4 is field hockey. Number 3 is basketball. Number 2 is cricket. And number 1, soccer or football. That's it.
I did it. I killed the list. I took this list. I took it out back.
Wiped your butt
behind
with
the woodshed. Yep. Well, no. But I did demolish it.
You could go behind the woodshed and wipe your ass with something. Nobody would see it.
You could. No, but that's not what I did. I dominated a list. This was fun. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Once a week.
I hope you learned something from me.
I think I learned a lot about how I feel about Top Gun.
Yeah, no, you really went all in on the Top Gun side discussion. But I want you to know that you're not the only one that went all in on a tennis podcast, because we have a few podcast reviews to read aloud for our listeners.
Hooray.
Okay, so if you're new to the show, we read fucking reviews that come in on Apple Podcasts and podchaser.com. This first one comes from Drewby. He's from the Misery Machine podcast, and this is on Apple Podcasts. They say, quote, "This is a great find. We came across you on social media and thought we'd check you out. We're really happy that we did. We're working from home in a smallish city in Maine, where there isn't a ton to do right now, as the state is basically shut down for the time being. So interesting and entertaining podcasts are filling that gap and keeping our spirits up. Keep up the great work. We cannot wait to listen to more." I thought that was a nice review. Thank you, Drewby, because I am in a very similar boat. Now, Oklahoma is not like Maine, because Oklahoma is a bunch of jackasses that are not taking Corona as seriously as we should. So things are almost normal at this point as far as businesses being open. But that said, up until recently, I did up my podcast consumption. How about you?
I think we listen at different times. I have less time to listen.
I listen like when I'm doing chores around the house or walking my dog or driving.
Well, see, that's the difference. I don't do chores around the house. I don't walk my dog, and I make someone.
Why don't you walk your dog?
I'm just kidding. I do those things. I just don't listen to a podcast while I do them.
What do you listen to? Music?
Actually, neither one of my dogs need to be walked. They go run around the backyard. Their legs are only about 3 inches long. So running around the backyard a few times knocks their little asses out.
Well, maybe you should run around out there with them.
I do.
That'd make them feel better.
I do.
Because walking is not just, it's a bonding exercise for me and my dog.
Whatever.
Now, one more review here. Brandon, I think this might be an uncle of yours or some relation. It's from Joshy McSquashy.
Okay.
On Apple Podcasts. Do you know Joshy?
I don't know Joshy.
Okay. Seems like someone you know. Joshy McSquashy said, "Great pod! Really top-notch stuff! Well executed and very enjoyable!"
Did he fall down a well? That review come from a place of duress?
Well, I can't verify one way or another. I know he used exclamation points, which to me indicates that he wanted me to yell his review. So I did.
Thanks.
Thanks, Joshy McSquashy. And if you'd like your review read on this show...
If you'd like your review yelled, don't forget to leave an exclamation point.
Even if you're at the bottom of a well, we'll read your review. It's no problem. Just rate us 5 stars and review us on Apple Podcast or on podchaser.com. Just search for Tennis Podcast. Whew. Well, we got through all of our business. What do we do now?
We record another one.
We do. This has been episode 91. We'd like to thank you for listening. We will be back next week with episode... what?
Next week will be episode 92.
Okay, just want to make sure you're paying attention. And I will have the list then. It will not be about sports.
No, it won't.
Okay. Okay. See you later. We'd like to thank Kevin McLeod for his song Hackbeat, which we found on Incompetech.com for the official Tennis Podcast theme.